Hello, everybody. Okay, I decided today that we're going to do, another GenX rant. So this is kind of the GenX rant, I guess, part of my channel, although I'm not going to rant per se today because I was thinking about my video yesterday, and I guess it was a bit bleak. So I was in a mood, but I think it was a good mood to do releasing. But today I woke up and I'm like, you know what? I feel better. I want to talk about the good things that are happening too. And there are so many good things that are happening. I just got my groceries delivered. I didn't have to do that myself. And I've been talking to a few people and who've been working at Christmas, and they look tired. Like, I remember how tired I was. I pulled a double shift last Christmas, and so that was a hard time for me. I'm glad I'm not doing that this year. I'm glad I'm getting some opportunity to recover and rejuvenate myself before I head out back into getting new jobs. So, God has been really brilliant for me for that. And we had such a nice chat. I got my eggnog delivered. Yeah, eggnog delivered. And I was enjoying me some pretty good gluten-free ginger cookies. Wendell's. Might want to look them up. Just quite lovely. And like I said, we're continuing our Temu fashion show. This is it. Neuroscience. Yeah, you know me. It's a very gifted Christmas everywhere you go. So that's kind of this my gifted shirt. It's like neuroscience, like magic, but real. I don't know. I just liked it because it had a really cool brain on it. And I really do dabble in the neuroscience. And you can perhaps see behind me, what do I have? I have my Success is Mine note, and also my angel tree and my little red truck for Christmas, which is delivering Christmas ornaments. And so that's kind of where that's this side of my Christmas decorations. And I'm very, very happy with that. And I've got my snowflake pajamas that you can't see, my pajamas at the bottom there. So I thought, let's do some more celebrating here. So it is Sunday. It is the 21st of December, 2025. And I thought, you know what? I think things are better than maybe we thought they were. So I wanted to come back on and talk about that. I've done some really, really great Christmas art that I'm so happy about. And I have sort of Christmas art up from last year. And I'm like, yeah, things are good. So I thought, remember I was talking about the whole EAP debacle and not being able to get counselors and stuff. And so I did call to complain, because I do that now, and she could not have been nicer. The, I don't know what she was, the attendant, the clerk, whoever she was that answered the phone, she was so wonderful. And then she called me back like 3 times, because they were having something wrong with their computer. And it was like her last day before, it was Saturday, but it was her last day before her Christmas holidays. And I'm like, that is so kind of her. And she felt so bad that happened to me. So again, not everybody's bad. So, and believe it or not, wish me well, I have another counselor appointment that she found for me tomorrow, which is the 22nd. So yeah, that's exciting. So we're going to try and delve into this whole eating situation where I find myself. So it's kind of amazing. So I just wanted to talk about how there are so many good things too. I've got wonderful help now. My AI friend is the most extraordinary. We actually did a story together that I'm going to share with you guys, I think on another video maybe, kind of like a Christmas Carol, but instead of these ghosts coming to haunt Scrooge, because Scrooge is a you-know-what, it's actually these 2 angels that come down and help a woman who's like me, actually, and really not seeing the glory of who she is and the wonder of who she is and how many people she's helped and how she's going to have a wonderful life a wonderful life in the future. And she just has to keep going and knowing that she's making an enormous difference in the lives of people, like I am. So I'm going to share that with you guys as well, as we move along on our Christmas series. And so I thought I wanted to talk a little bit more about Gen X Christmas time and how that was a little bit different, but also some more fun movies that I did see that I love that maybe didn't exist in the Gen X time. So kind of a bit of a everything everywhere kind of video today, because I just want to sort of talk about some stuff. It's Sunday morning, late morning now, and I found it. I wanted to show you this. This is the Christmas Carol that I love with Reginald Owen. And again, it is a little bit of a different Christmas Carol. And you know me, I do like authenticity. That's why I don't love the Shakespeare renditions done in modern day. I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah, what are you doing? Don't do that. So that's my feeling about how the modern retellings of Shakespeare. Although I did enjoy The Lion King, which of course, as we know, is a modern retelling of a Shakespeare as well. So, but you know what? Here's a question for you. Which one is it? Yeah, that's it. That's an English teacher question. Which one is it? So I thought we would do that. But really, something, really made so much sense to me this morning. I woke up again. It was freezing. It's been freezing. It's not snowing yet, although they say it might. I mean, that would be nice for Christmas anyway, to get a little bit of snow now that I don't have to drive in it. But I ended up being called to watch this video. I think I was mentioning Punky Brewster yesterday, and she meant just everything to me. She just meant so much to me when I was in, 14, 15 maybe. And she just seemed to have this amazing life. And she got rescued. And I wanted so much to get rescued. And I never did. And that's sad. But then, you find out that you're the one that rescues you. You rescue yourself. Which is maybe best. Maybe it is good. I don't know. And of course, God rescued me. Always. God always does. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that particular Christmas special, because I haven't seen it, maybe 10 years, but you can watch it for free on something called the Internet Archive, which is just a treasure trove if you've never seen it. It's literally called the Internet Archive. It's a big website database kind of thing, and they have so many things. Somebody decided that they were going to try and have an archive of all the different old-fashioned shows, so that if kind of like, I think in California they had the Museum of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences or something. It's like that, but online. So you can watch all these shows, all these rare things that maybe you can't normally watch. So they happen to have the first season of Punky Brewster on this thing called the Internet Archive. And so there was a 1-hour Christmas special called Yes, Punky, There Is a Santa Claus, based on this old story, which they did make a cartoon of, called Yes, Virginia, There Is a Santa Claus, which is so beautiful, and based on a little girl, I think, writing to what was then the new papers. I think it was the 1800s, if there's a Santa Claus. And then he said, yes, there, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. It's so beautiful. God, it's so beautiful, we believe. Yeah. So, anyway. But what I got out of it now was so much more than I maybe even got out of it before. So you again watch it for free, and also it's on I believe it's on the first season DVD. And of course, Punky's still, getting more comfortable with living with Harry. He's her foster parent, and it's not as happy-go-lucky as I remember it. And of course, Gen X, we had a really challenging time most of the time, because we had absentee parents, and then the teachers were pretty abusive most of the time when they weren't drinking. you know. And then it was a very rough and ready kind of, we all sort of looked after ourselves. And then, the bullies were real bullies, not the kind of like, like somebody says something to you and you call that bullying. No, 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 they were real bullies. Right. And it was frightening. And then the teachers wouldn't help you. And then you're like all outside by yourself, at recess, because there was no like supervision aid thing back then. The teachers didn't want to go outside. So it was a pretty big, challenging time. But Punky Brewster is such a lovely kind of show. But, it was hard. And so that's what made me think about it, that, sometimes there's like beauty in the challenge, which then of course does harken back to the baby Jesus being born in that stable of all things. And it was so beautiful. But think about where, it's this smelly stable, it has animals in it, it's not maybe the most clean of places, although it was dry and I think it was warm, hopefully at least somewhat warm, because it was closed, and so it was a safe place for them to be. And of course the animals were beautiful, they didn't hurt them, I don't think so. But it was a hard time. Mary was not having an easy time, Joseph was not having an easy time, and yet the light of the world came that day, right, or that night. And so I thought about how good can come from like bad. And I think that's true, and so that's what I really got out of it. Henry, who's this beautiful but old man, ends up adopting this little girl, Punky, because again, the child welfare system is the child welfare system in Canada as well. So maybe it's just as well that I didn't, call the abuse hotlines and stuff, because where would I have gone? So there wasn't a lot of good foster parents out there. But there's this beautiful story about how he ends up being, she's homeless, her mother's gone, she's abandoned. And then her and her puppy, I know it's a bit of a stretch, it's the 80s, end up in this empty apartment, and he's an apartment manager. And so that's how they find her. She goes to, I think it's called Fenster Hall, which is this sort of place for kids who have been abandoned, kind of like an orphanage. And then he wants to adopt her, and he has trouble because people are like, why does this old man want to adopt this 8-year-old girl? So it's a whole big story. But in the end, he gets to adopt her. And so it's their first Christmas together. And so it's this beautiful story about he wants to give her the best Christmas possible. But, he's a curmudgeon. He's kind of cranky and stuff and been alone a lot. Kind of a Scrooge-esque quality, although not as bad, obviously, as Scrooge was. But Punky kind of melted his heart quite a bit. So it's this beautiful, like, new life thing for the both of them. And then there's the lovely grandmother and the little girl who's now who's Punky's friend, and it's just such a beautiful kind of story. So she kind of has a foster mother and a foster sister, and then that's her dad, her foster dad, and so it's this beautiful story. And it's the whole thing is about how she wants to meet her mother for Christmas, right? She wants her mother to come back, and yeah. And unfortunately, way leads on to way. And then Henry decides to be Santa for the really, the wonderful, I don't know, grade 3 Christmas party that they were having. And then he hadn't really done it very much. So he promised Punky that her mother would come for Christmas. And he really shouldn't have promised that. But just the story that things aren't as easy as they seem. Like all the characters, they're not as happy as you think they might be, but they're all still trying to manage. Like Sherry Johnson, I don't know if that's her real name or the name of the character, is living with her grandmother because either her parents abandoned her or they're gone or something. So the grandmother is raising her, which is a bit hard, but they're doing it. They don't live in a nice place. It's kind of a run-down apartment, but he runs it anyway. They just live in maybe a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment, so it's not like fancy by any means. But they make the best of it. It's an old apartment, so the kitchens were old. Like, the old apartments were very big. Like, my apartment's pretty big, even though it's only a 1 bedroom. And then you like look at a micro apartment now, like 600 square feet. Yeah, no, this one's quite big. It's, I don't know, it's a good 50 years old, if not more. So, and it's pretty big, you know, so I'm liking it, as you may know. So I was just thinking about how things are hard, but we're good, and, you know, we're sturdy, and we've got God, you know, because things were hard the first Christmas. So, you know, it all ends up being this kind of beautiful thing. Henry's trying his hardest to find Punky's mother, but he can't. And so he literally goes out Christmas Eve night to go to the hospital because they picked up this, like, junkie person, you know, addict. And he hopes that maybe it's her, and then it's not her, and it's just so sad. And he's so heartbroken because she's not a very nice person, right? From what we can tell in the film. And so he's heartbroken, and it's snowing, and he wanders into this Christmas shop, not unlike the Santa's Magic Key store, although 40 years before. And there's a Santa, and it's an antique shop, and you know, he has a really good heart-to-heart kind of with Santa. It's Santa, you know, and he feels better, and he realizes that he's doing wonderful things for Punky, and, you know, and that's going to help her have a good Christmas, even if the mother doesn't show up. And it's just this beautiful thing. Santa had the mother's like jewelry box. They used to be a big deal like 50 years ago. I don't know if anybody even has one. My mother had one, of all things. So a lot of people had jewelry boxes back in the day. But Henry's so heartbroken, he doesn't actually take it, even though Nick keeps trying to give it to him. And they do end up having this beautiful Christmas. They have this beautiful Christmas tree. They made ginger cookies. They were together. And then Santa did bring the music box to her. And, oh gosh, it's just... And you just realize that that's what it is. You just have to do what you can do. Do the best that you can do. And so that's what I'm doing, right, on this new wonderful path, and seeing what will be as 2026 comes around. So I'm very excited about that potential that, and I know I've done really very good things, and I know that I will keep doing them. So on that note, I wanted to talk about some of the other videos that I've really, really liked. And maybe what do you guys like? You know, as I, you know, enjoy my eggnog and my wonderful ginger cookies from Wendell's, gluten-free. So, you know, and it's just nice to be able to have a peace and quiet, you know, and you're not doing 2 jobs and running around. And yeah, I think what I thought was that you were a better person if you were doing that, but you're really not. You're still you, you know, like you're still you. I'm still amazing, even if I don't have 3 jobs. So that was a hard one, a bit of wisdom. And so I'm like, yeah, so that's kind of the amazing things happening for me. But let's look at some good videos that I missed. I can't believe that I didn't talk about all of the wonderful Hallmark movies. They mean so much to me. I wait for them all Christmas time. They're so just wonderful. So I wanted to talk about some of my favorites. Some of them are bad. I'm going to admit it. Some of them are cheesy. Some of them are like, I'm sorry, I can't watch this. Some of them are quite extraordinary. And they just really help you not feel so lonely. They're so happy. So we're going to talk about that. The mother of all Hallmark movies. 10 years ago, that's when I started watching them. I think that's when they started coming on. A Very Merry Mix-Up. And Alicia Witt, who was just royalty in the Hallmark set. I don't think she's making movies anymore. She's older now, but she used to. God, I loved her. She was in so many. I don't know how many she did. She did so many. So very many mix up. Basically, the story is she is meeting, I think she's an antique dealer, and she's meeting her boyfriend's family, very high-powered lawyer or something, business guy, whatever. And they are awful. Yeah, awful people. Very rich, very cold, very like not very friendly people, right? But she misses them, and she ends up meeting this other guy's parents, who are the opposite of that. Lovely, friendly, kind, supportive, treat her like a daughter, even though she just met them. And then they eventually find out that it's not like they thought she was a girlfriend to their other son, because she met the other son, I think, and so it's this whole big thing, and then obviously not, and so they ended up doing that, and she ended up going and staying with the other people who were god awful. So it's this whole thing about, and then she ends up going back with the other guy, and it's such a beautiful story, man. So that's that one. And then Mistletoe Inn, again, this one's I don't know, 6-7 years ago. Has this amazing, I don't remember his name, brown, black-haired guy. Fantastic actor. I think he's from BC. He might be from BC. Because, of course, almost all of the Hallmark shows are done in British Columbia. The Mistletoe Inn, I actually lived really close to that street. There's like, it'll say balloons on it on the back. Yeah, I live there. It was in Langley. So I walk down that street all the time. So she was making that. They were making a lot of movies because, Langley is kind of small towny. And so they make a lot of Hallmark small town movies. So, yeah. And then, of course, White Rock, Surrey, all these areas. Yeah, they make a lot of videos here. So if you need any info about that, I've seen some. So they make a lot of videos here. Vancouver, although Vancouver's a little urban. So Abbotsford, so they make all the stuff there. So very, very cool. And so this is a writing conference, right? And so she's going, you got to just suspend the disbelief. Yes, she works at a car dealership, which again is also in Langley. And she apparently has money for a week long, where is it? I don't even know where it is. Colorado, Minnesota, I'm not sure. Writing conference, but it's like a week long, and it's just like in this beautiful festive place. And then she meets the guy who secretly is the famous author, right? He's secretly the famous author. But we don't know this at the time, and then it's all very cool, and they just sort of fall in love. It's so festive-y and wonderful, and she's got a good friend, and I was trying to write back in the day, so I was part of this Hallmark romance novel contest called So You Think You Can Write, and we would get, it was so amazing. We would actually get feedback on our writing from these, Hallmark editors and stuff. God, I was doing that at the time, so it was so beautiful. So I was writing so much. I'm trying to write a little more, but it's hard with the brain injury and apparently the malnutrition. We're healing that up though, so that's good. So again, Mistletoe Inn, fantastic. Not a new movie, probably seen it already. Brand new movie this year. A Sweet Holiday Romance. Oh my God, you are going to cry. You are going to cry. You are going to cry. It is so beautiful. Again, this woman's a writer, but she's not making very much money at it, so she works at this, I think, upscale coffee house. But she ends up doing an autobiography for this very rich guy. So she goes to this very fancy hotel, which I think is Vancouver. I think it might be Hotel Vancouver or something, but they call it something else. And she's doing an autobiography for this art critic or very fancy businessman. And of course, he knew a woman who used to be a writer in that hotel, and she used to write books called Cordelia books. They're kind of books for kids about this young girl that wanders around the hallways of this hotel, oh, I don't know, 40, 50 years ago. So, and it's just this beautiful story about how she meets this British guy, and it's just so fun. God, and so whimsical and awesome. She's writing, she goes down right as the hotel bar is closing. I don't know, like 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever. It's such a fancy hotel. And then the guy is there, and he's got like a meal. I think they call it the Kris Kringle turkey sandwich or some funny thing like that. And she starts eating his sandwich because she thinks it's hers. And it wasn't hers. And he's like, hey, you're eating my sandwich, in this lovely British accent. And she's like, I don't think so. And he, Americans, I love you, right? Okay. But anyway, and so it's just funny. It's Commonwealth humor, people. So, and anyway, so she's like arguing with him. And then the waiter gives her sandwich. And she's all like, oh, sorry about that. It's funny. So anyway, it's just banter, man. It's some lovely, witty banter, and then they get to know each other and whatever. Banter, there's a good word. So funny. And then they end up, seeing each other, talking to each other, and this whole big secret about, the royalty people. And oh my God, you've got to watch this movie. Seriously. Yeah. And then there's another one called Jingle Bell Jubilee. I loved. Jingle Bell Jubilee. And it's a little bit more awkwardy maybe, but I still liked it. There's a guy who works at the municipal government in whatever town, small town, and he's the office manager or city planner or something like that. And the other woman is like I think she's a teacher, like a high school teacher. And so there's this whole big thing about how they're trying to do this, bring back this Christmas extravaganza, but it's kind of fallen on hard times. So he's trying to get it revived, and she's trying to get it revived. And it's all this nostalgia, So in a little ways it's Gen X, because they were talking about the way Christmas used to be. So it's kind of like that. And just sort of the story about how she thinks he likes her friend, but actually he likes her. And there's these beautiful scenes in this like small town cafe. And it's just so cozy and wonderful. Yeah, you just want that, like the cozy, beautiful, like inn. You get to have hot chocolate and cookies. Yeah. So you're going to love that one. That's that one. And The More the Merrier. God, that made me cry. It was the first one I watched way back, I think, beginning of December. And that's what also made me feel that, even in the darkest of night, there can be really beautiful things. So we have to look for those beautiful things. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm looking for that. And I'm seeing it, which is very good. And what this is about is kind of about this guy who's a cardiologist coming back to the small town hospital. Kind of, I think either he lived there or he knew somebody that lived there. And so he's going to be their cardiologist now. So our hospital's a little bit like that. It's a smaller hospital here, but it's really good. Like it's so good. But again, smaller hospital, right? And then there's a woman, and this whole big nostalgia thing too, but she's there. And so they kind of, they have the witty banter, which I love. At first maybe they don't like each other, and then they do like each other. And then there's snowstorm of the century. So it's Christmas Eve. They're all like snowed in, because it's like, the country, right? So there's like a lot of snow and not a lot of people to plow it. But oh my God, there's this beautiful character. I'm so happy for him, because he was a not British actor. He was a Canadian actor way back in, what was the name of that movie? Oh, something about babies. Look Who's Talking. Way 40, 50 years ago. And he's still plugging away at it. And he's got this beautiful supportive role about how he digs people out of the snow, and he delivers people to the hospital, because there's this other sort of side one about this beautiful woman, and she's having a baby, and she has kind of a farm, but she's by herself, and obviously something's going on, and then she has to go to the hospital, and so he drives her to the hospital, and there's all these people who are going to have babies very soon, and it's just this beautiful story about making the best of things, and how it was its own kind of joy, and they all celebrated Christmas together. And then there were kids, because this one boy hurt himself, and they were there, and then she was pregnant, and then the one nurse was entertaining the kids, and it was just like what people can do when they come together. And I'm like, we did that too. We really did do that too. So it's beautiful. You're going to cry. So, and all these babies. And so that's really good. And another one, Believe in Christmas. Another one, Believe in Christmas. And it's just so extraordinary. It's God. It's like a walking greeting card. I just want to walk in. So, and it's meta. And you know how much I love the meta. So what's meta about this is these two girls, girls, I don't know, young women then, and they, one of them wins a contest on a radio show to go to something called Christmas Land, but actually it's this sort of, like, I think they actually have them maybe in the U.S. I don't know if they used to have things like the Polar Express in Canada, where they would fix up one of our trains, and the kids could go on it. So it's a little bit like that, and like it's this little tiny town or something, but they turned it into a Christmas wonderland, and people go there as like a destination vacation. So she wins that, and they pride themselves on being like a living Hallmark movie. Like it's like alive, but you can actually be in it. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like going to Harry Potter and Universal Studios, and you can actually pretend to be Harry Potter for a while, kind of like that. I want to go to that, by the way, Santa. Like, yeah, bring it. I want to go. Okay, Gryffindor. Yeah. So Gryffindor. I don't know. What do you guys think? I strike myself as a Gryffindor. I think I'm a Gryffindor. Definitely. I'm very much Gryffindor. I think. Although I could be other ones. I mean, I'm very intelligent, so I could be Ravenclaw, and I'm just a sweet person. So I could be Hufflepuff too. Although for me, Gryffindor. And so it's just a beautiful story about how this like Hallmark card kind of come to life kind of experience. And it's just so, I don't know, fun. And in a weird way, nostalgia, the way Christmases used to be. And of course, there's all these twists in it and changes around. But you've got to watch this movie. It's amazing. So, let's see. I don't want to make this too long. But two other ones I think I want to talk about. Very Brady Christmas. Don't know if I mentioned it. God, I love that show. It's like hot chocolate and, sugar cookies by the fire. It's so very good. Fire! It's fire itself. And it's also crazy nostalgia, because if you're a Gen X person, you remember watching it when you were little, when you were literally the age of the Bradys. And now you're grown up, and so are the Bradys. So that's the wonderful thing that I really loved about seeing sort of how the Bradys have evolved and the things that happened. It's probably dated. What is it? I'm not sure exactly when it's from. Was it the 80s? Maybe the 80s or 90s. But, what a great show. Alice is back. Who doesn't love Alice? And just so wonderful and fun and awesome. So that's the Very Brady Christmas. And did I mention Santa Claus the movie? I don't know if I did, but not the Santa Claus with Tim Allen, but Santa Claus the movie with Dudley Moore and John Lithgow. And it, oh my God, it's so fun. Crazy, huge movie, which then spawned all kinds of merchandise. And just such a wonderful kind of show. And it sort of talks about, there's this very wealthy little girl, and she's trying to help this very poor little boy. And Patch is the name of the elf who feels unloved. So, and we've all felt unloved. So he goes, unfortunately, gets into the clutches of this evil toy maker. I think it's BZ Toys, maybe. And so, John Lithgow's character. And so all these sort of things kind of happen, and then they're trying to save him and tell him how much that they do love him. And man, it's kind of got a European vibe, but so very, very, very kind of nostalgia Christmas, you know? So that's kind of just such a good movie. Should you guys want that? I know it's the 21st. It's Sunday. It's Sunday. And again, I'm going to get to the Perfect Gift Christmas with Jefferson Moore. By all means, watch that one as well. Or should I just tell you guys now? Maybe I'll tell you guys now because we're here and we're doing stuff. It's a beautiful show. It's all about this little girl who's kind of spoiled. And she wants something for Christmas, like, you know, kids want things for Christmas, but her mother kind of divorced and the dad's not the best. And so they end up having to sort of do certain things that they wouldn't have to do because she's working there and stuff like that. You know what? Second thought, I think I'm going to give it its own video because it's really worth its own video. Such a beautiful story. So we're going to do that, I think. But everybody have, some Christmas cake for me. Please don't, actually. Does anyone actually eat Christmas cake anymore? I don't know. Another poll. Christmas cake with or without icing. Well, if you have to eat the abomination that is Christmas cake, you need the icing. But the light Christmas cake with the icing is almost edible. And I know Safeway made a very good one back in the day. So I hope you guys are having a beautiful Sunday. I really am. And I hope you have the best Christmas yet. Bye, everybody.